Welcome back to I Have No Clue. In this episode, we're going to discuss how to get rank in the military easily and fast. Okay? Now, listen, getting rank starts before you even get in. It starts with your recruiter. Okay? It starts with your recruiter. But first off, what I'm going to say is, first off, if you can, go in as an officer, okay? Not enlisted, but as an officer. Officers make more, they have more privileges, and it's easier. I don't care what anyone says in the comments below, blah, 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 because I'm sure a lot of officers are going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's hell, blah, blah. No, officers have it easy. There's like lieutenants through generals, and then there's warrant officers, and I'll get into that in a minute. But if you can go in as an officer, do it. Like if you have a certain college degree, you can go in as an officer, or a certain specialty. Like for instance, if you're like a registered nurse and you wanted to join the military, you could go in as an officer. You truly could, depending on the need of the time or whatnot. You could go in as a lieutenant. Now, if you're a doctor and you wanted to join the military, you could go in as a captain or a colonel or a full bird, depending on what your specialty is and how bad they need doctors. Okay, like if you're a dentist and you want to join, like for instance, if you're a dentist, man, I'm telling you, every dentist out there that is eligible to join the military, if you have student loans, you are out of your mind not to join the National Guard or the reserves. You're out of your mind not to, because like, okay, let's say you got like 80 grand in student debt. You could join the military, and once a month you show up as an officer, so it'd be pretty cushy, and they're going to pay off your student loan. But I'm getting off track. But back to getting rank. You want to go in as an officer if you can. Talk to your recruiter. And then if you're going to go in as enlisted, don't join as an E1. Don't join as an E1. Tell your recruiter, say, look, I need E3 or E2. I don't know. Let's look to see if you went to Boy Scouts, or if you went to ROTC, or if you've done something that can get you boosted up from E1 to E3, because they want to bring you as an E1 because they can pay you less. Okay? They can pay you less. But if you have like college, you come in as E4 specialist. So you want to talk to your recruiter, say, look, and be prepared to walk. Be prepared to walk, because it's not really up to the recruiter to get the rank. It's up to MEPS, where they process you in, and he'll call up and say, hey, I got Cupcake Snuffy here, and he's telling me that he doesn't want to join unless he can come in as an E3. What can we do? And then somebody at MEPS will be like, let me sit here and look. You'd be some colonel or something. Let me look here. Colonel might look at his books and be like, oh, good night, man, we're not getting anybody in. And that colonel wants you in because it doesn't look good if he's not getting people in. So he'll call the recruiter back and say, you know what, I'm going to make an exception. And Cupcake Snuffy, I'll let him to come in as E3. And don't think that it can't happen, because it can. It truly can happen. It can. The colonels and above have some major power. They truly do. They could be like, okay, we can bring in, and don't let your recruiter, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. No. If they're hard up for people, hard up for bodies, especially at this time with what's going on in the world right now, and you're joining as E1, you're making a mistake, because they need people, and they need people bad. They will make some calls, and I don't care if you don't have crap on a stick. You could go in as an E3. You could be like, look, I got to have E3 because this is my financial situation, and E1's not enough for me. E1's not enough for me. And they might take that into consideration and give you E3. And I guarantee it right now, don't go in as an E1. Now, if you've already signed up, too late. Sorry. If you already took that oath, it's too late. But hopefully you haven't taken the oath yet, because you can go in as an E3 or an E4. Now, E4 is going to be a little bit more. You're going to have college or something they need. But anyhow, that's the first step. Now, once you get into the military, now it's up to you about the rank. It's up to you. So once you get in, the first thing you want to make sure of is you want to stay in good physical shape. You want to stay in good physical shape and don't fail any PT tests. That's the first step, okay? So don't be failing PT tests and don't be overweight. Plain and simple. You want to get the rank, you want to get it fast. That's the first step. Second step, be where you're supposed to be and on time. Be where you're supposed to be and on time. Matter of fact, be early. If you're supposed to be there at 0700, be there at 0630. Okay? All right, be early and be on time. That's number 2. Number three, wear the uniform correctly and as sharp and as pristine as you can. So make it look like you just came out of a catalog for the U.S. Army. Everything's just dress right dress. There's not a scuff on your boot. There's not a flaw in your uniform. You look like $1 million. You look like $1 million. You look like, wow, man, that person's squared away. That person's like, it doesn't look like you just rolled out of a duffel bag, okay? You look like you're ready for a photo shoot for the Army. That's very important. That's very important. You want to look excellent in your uniform. That's number 3. Number 4, take the initiative. Don't wait to be told to do something that you know needs to be done. Take the initiative. Take the initiative. If you're E3 and there's some E1s and E2s loafing around and you see that the motor pool needs to be swept, say, hey, get over here. Let's get this motor pool swept up. Let's get it cleaned up. And listen, if you're E3 and they're E1 and 2, they got to listen to you. They have to listen to you. That's how it works. That's how it works. If you're a specialist and there's a PFC under you, private first class, you tell them, hey, let's get moving. Let's get this stuff cleaned up. Let's get this stuff cleaned up, okay? So they're going to see that you're a leader and that you want to get things done. Because you get some E6 or E7 on your side and liking you, you're going to get promoted. You're going to get promoted. And there's an exception to every rule in the military. Because you can go from E1 to E5 in like a year and a half, depending on the need. Depending on the need, there's something that's called a waiver. They can waive anything at any time. Like a colonel, if a colonel needs an E6, guess what? You could be made into an E6 in a snap of a finger. And I don't care. Don't let anyone tell you anything otherwise. Oh, you've got to do the time and the blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the case. That is not the case. There's some colonels out there that got some huge power with a click of a mouse or a stroke of a pen. You could be promoted in no time. Now, also, it goes the other way, too. In a click of a mouse or a stroke of a pen, you can go from E5 to E1 or E6 to E3. You could be knocked down instantly for being late, for mouthing off, for anything, for coming up hot on drugs. You got to watch yourself. You got to watch yourself. Hell, you can lose rank just because they feel that you're not doing the job correctly. You could be a sergeant first class, be a pile of garbage leading a platoon, and if they feel you're not doing it right, guess what? You're E6 now. You're E6 now. So you want to always stay in shape. You want to be at the right place at the right time and on time. You want to look like $1 million, and you want to take the initiative at all times at any rank. Because I tell you, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. But once you start building that rank, man, it's time to take it easy. It's time to kick back in the chair while everyone else is doing all the work. Okay, you delegate things down. Hey, troops, those tents need to be steam cleaned. Hey, troops, we need to get that bob wire all wired up. And I'll be here at my desk making sure that it's done from my desk while I'm sipping my coffee and taking it easy. Now get out there and do it now. It's what they'll tell you, okay? So what you want to do is you want to get the rank because you'll be on easy street. You'll be at the desk with your feet up. But you're going to be in shape. You're going to be dressed to the nines. And you're going to be taking the initiative. But I'm just saying it gets easier and easier as you get rank and you get more and more money. For instance, I'll give you a little tidbit of how rank has its privileges. If you're E6 and below, you've got to sign out in person for leave. You got to go into the talk or wherever you sign out and sign out at 1200. If you're E7, Sergeant First Class, you can sign out over the phone. So what's that mean? You can drive home to your vacation, and when it's time, like let's say you get a weekend ahead, take Saturday and Sunday off, and your leave doesn't start till Monday, You could be on your vacation and call, yeah, this is Sergeant First Class so-and-so, I'm signing out for my leave. So you get extra days. Rank has its privileges. So you want to get promoted. It gets a lot easier. Rank has its privileges, plus you get more pay. And then also, if you're going to go in as enlisted, once you reach E5, which is sergeant, you want to go to warrant officer. You want to put in for a warrant officer, okay? A warrant officer isn't really in command of anything. He's there to assist. But he doesn't get screwed with by anybody. And he makes more money, and he's considered an officer. Okay, no one tells him what to do. No one busts his balls. I'm going to talk more about warrant officers in my upcoming videos. But the thing is, though, is if you can follow these rules that I just covered, you should join the military, and within 2 years, you should be an E5 sergeant on your way to staff sergeant. And then also, if you got any smarts to you, once you make E5, you're going to go to warrant officer. Okay? So if you can do those 4 steps that I went over, do the 4 steps, you will get rank. Let me see. Anyhow, if you go over those steps that I went over, first part is start with your recruiter. Don't go in as an E1. You want to go in as an E3. All right, go rewind the tape and listen to what I said to get it. Part 2, you want to stay in shape. And don't fail PT. 3, you want to look like $1 million. 3 was be in the right place at the right time and on time. 4 is look like $1 million, and